So, hello. Alright, I'm just demonstrating. Oh, and I just ran into a bush and it stopped. How to make trees add sounds, play sounds, and detect collisions, as well as rocks, generating rocks that can be scattered and have collision as well. And the answer is I've used three things. I've combined invector, third person controller, managing to miss the bushes, envirospawn script, which you can get for free, and the 3D game kit, lite, which you can get for free. And what I've done is I've exported the prefabs from envirokit lite, because if you just use envirokit lite, although it's really good, third person 3D game kit lite, yeah, just using that, I don't know if I've got that on another project. Here, scene, right. I think this is all done. Let's see. 3D game kit lite. I think there's problems here. So when you import 3D game kit lite, you need to open up the package manager and search for Cinemachine and post-process. Cinemachine, install that or update it if it's if you've installed it with the packages. And then I don't know if it needs post-processing. It tends to, which is fine. And the great thing about the 3D kit is that it provides a built-in decent camera system, which is great, but we're going to be using Invector's one anyway, because that's got more extensibility and there's better support, to be honest. So we close that, go into this game. What's this? You've got, yeah, post-processing. So game kit, I'll probably say 4. Yeah, it's fair. -1 store for collision detection being pants and not integrating properly with other things. But 4 stars for the fact that it provides such amazing prefabs and scripts. So what am I doing? I need to get package manager and post-processing. So post, add that, and that's fine, because both post-processing and Cinemachine, once you get to grips with them, they're worth having in any project, to be honest. Right, and what we're going to do really is, once we've got to grips with 3D game kit lite, which is awesome but limited, then we're going to yoink the prefabs and the scripts and put them into a blank project, and we're going to include invector, free third person controller, free version, although it's probably worth buying the full version as and when. And with that, it has 3 different ones. It has the basic locomotion, melee, and shooting. But the shooting one includes all the other 3, so shooting's really the best bet, because you'll end up wanting to shoot things, probably. I bought the melee because I thought I won't need to shoot things, but you kind of do. After you've run around and hit things, you just want to shoot them. Right, okay, so that's that. We've closed that. What we've got? Well, we need the resonance thing now as well. So we've got another package. It automatically brings in Pro Builder, and I've been having a lot of problems. I don't know what is causing the problem, but once Pro Builder comes in and I try and just use other scenes, everything breaks. But I don't know if it's the fault of Pro Builder or some of the other scripts in 3D Game Kit. And the full version of 3D Game Kit is still free, and it's 3 or 4 gigs, and it's beautiful, but a bit clunky, but it's definitely worth having a look at the resources from that. In particular, the bridges are nice, and there's a very nice fog, 2D particle fog that you can stick in, which is nice, which I'll be showing at some point, I'm sure. So we need to add the resonance. So tutorial window, package manager, and Google. We like the Google resonance for some reason, not sure why, but in Unity it'll be removed. Included, I don't know what. Okay, so it's going to be removed in 2020.1. That's great, isn't it? Still, it's only for the sound management, and we're not going to be using that for this. So this is kind of optional. I'm only doing it to get rid of the error messages. Well, this constant deprecation is going to hurt because it's going to hurt the 3D Game Kit. Right. Okay, and close. Unless they bring out another one, which I'd love them to do. If they can bring out another 3D Game Kit and add integration with invector and other asset things, that'd be brilliant. So yeah, hit play. It should all be working now. So we've imported the 3D Game Kit Lite. We've added Google resonance nonsense. Cinemachine's not nonsense. Postprocessing not nonsense. Although it's a bit overkill really for what we're doing. Right, so here's the 3D kit. Up here, kits, create new scene, call it test 1. I'm not sure if we need to do this, but this just shows you what it's capable of doing. Choose the scene, hit play. It seems to have lost its texture for some reason. I don't know what I've done. Okay, it's perhaps because I said no to things on the import. And unfortunately I haven't managed to figure out how to get this character to work with invector, which is a shame. And you've got your menu system and sound system and everything like that. It's all really cleverly done, and it also shows you how to create with an editor, create a new scene. So that's something that's going to be useful. Automation. I am a great fan of automation if you can get it to work and not break, which this has done. So up here, prefabs. I don't know if I've already done it. In the prefabs, just export prefabs basically. I don't know if you can do it from there. Export package prefabs and call it 3D Game Kit prefabs, and that, with dependencies. And that's all we really need from here. I mean, there's some nice features to this. It's definitely worth going through. Unity Learn offers a very in-depth guide to it, which is very nice. It has 2 tutorials. It has a reference guide, which is nice, plus a 7-hour training thing on how to use switches, and you have things like let's have a look, interactables, moving platforms, particularly cool. You drag that in, move it along, end, and activate, and then somewhere along the line, there we go, you've got a moving platform that you can jump on, and there's lots of things like that, like doors and switches and stuff. So we'll be grabbing this for use in other scenes. Can't really see, but it is, trust me, it is actually moving up and down. There we go. So that's just amazing, just that level of functionality. The roll is nice as well. The animations on the character are amazing. It's really good, although it doesn't have the standard, well, I don't know if it's standard or not, but the cling thing where you can cling onto the sides, which would be nice. It has quite a nice combat animation, and you have monsters you can just drag in as well, which is great. That's all well and good, but it's not what we're after. What we're after is to have all this stuff and to be able to use it in our own scenes. So we've done that, grabbed that, and then we make a new project, and in the new project we import invector lite, and in invector lite, where are we? Invector lite, prefabs, you just drag these two. You've got your camera and your third-person controller, and this is far more extensible and usable with other things. And I've changed the sprint speed to 20 there, and that's that. And we import the prefabs, and that brings in a whole load of things, including a load of scripts, and one of the scripts is on collision, which means we don't have to code anything, we just add the script. So with the game object, we basically create a game object and add the envirospawn script. It really lovely, provides a bush, a couple of rocks and a tree, pine, so that's awesome. So get all this amazing, and I'll provide the sound effect, the bush sound effect, and then which is available on free sound. If I can bring it up there, walking to deleted user 2020 229898, amazing. So I've adjusted that to do that, and we've added that to the bush. If I bring up the bush prefab, I've added the LOD system, I've shrunk down the LOD system, I've added a capsule mesh. Let's go in here, capsule collider. They're higher than usual, so it doesn't, we don't have any problems at the top where it can't decide whether or not to run through it. We then added a interact on collision script. We dragged it into itself, into this script, and we said audio source play. We've added an audio source, which is the bush sound effect. We've set the minimum distance to 1, maximum distance to 10, and the capsule collider is there, like so. And with the rocks, we've just gone in there, and I really do need to add an LED system to the rocks too, just so they switch off at, you know, furthest visible range rather than constantly being there. And mesh collider convex, you need to add a convex. So unfortunately there seems to be a bit of a bug with envirospawn at the moment, whereby it seems to float off into the air. So what you've got to do, there we go. Yeah, you can barely see the pop out there in the distance, which is great. It's just what I want. Stop. Could do that for ages. So where was I? We've created the LOD group. We've created the on collision. Let's have a look. Let's get back to the bush. We've got two levels to the bush. We've got the top level where I put the LOD system, and then I put this one as the LOD 1 or whatever it is. And let's see, interact on collision, audio source play, and it's going to play from the bush. So bush in there, audio source play, and without having to write a line of code. Isn't that amazing? I think it's amazing. So is there anything else to talk about? Oh yes, the problem, once you've added these colliders and everything, there is a small bug at the moment, or seems to be, with the I've had to deactivate the script there. So but in a live, here's a live one. Oh, there. I don't know, it's going to recreate it now, or is it going to behave itself? Maybe it's just sphere colliders. You seem alright. Let's try another one. There we go. Are you going to float? Maybe it was just sphere colliders that was causing it to act like bubbles. No, there we go. I managed to recreate it. So if I regenerate, going to regenerate, generate. I've got to so you basically got to switch it off, or switch the script off. Right. Remove component is the best I can do, and then adjust it manually to come down again. Remove component, which is the envirospawn script, so that will stop it going off in the distance, and then you've got to drag it down into sensible land. Not ideal, and hopefully it'll be fixed soon. But you know, just about there, and you can mask off areas with different layers as well. So what have we done? We've exported the 3D Games Kit Lite, and then exported the prefabs and imported it in. We've imported invector, 3D Lite free. Then we've added a capsule collider and a mesh collider convex to the rocks so that they can be solid, and we've added a capsule collider with an event on collision play a sound, and we've added the sound to it as well. And now we have bushes that make a sound. And future things I need to do, we need to add an LOD system to the rocks so that in the distance way off there they just disappear and they're not counted. And also I'd quite like to play different sounds as you go through bushes, so I would like a library of sounds, although I could just have it as one sound, because if you think about it, having to randomly select and get another thought process that we need to perhaps not have. So what we could have is each different bush could make a different sound as you go through it. So we collect up sounds. Right, and you could probably link this up to coins or something as well if you wanted to. If you wanted to have something to collect, so on collect, destroy, go ping and destroy the object or something. Add a score. A little bit high, that capsule collider, so it's making a sound. You clip it even when you miss it. But the reason for that is that we don't want it too short, otherwise we're going to end up with the same problems we have with the rocks, which is this sort of thing. It just stops like that. There's probably a rock underneath here somewhere. Right, so, and there's so much more we can do with invector than we can do with the 3D thing. So future versions of that 3D game kit, I would really like to see integrations with invector, and there's another really good climbing asset as well. But the reason I went with invector is they provide a free version for people to get going with, which I think is very cool, because you never know, you're always checking assets and stuff, so having a free version is very cool. So we're using three main assets: the invector Lite kit, third person controller, the 3D game kit Lite, and envirospawn, all of which are freely available on the asset store. And then we used a free sound, Creative Commons 0, for the bush sound. And we added a collision detection into the bush. Bring it up. The bush was in prefabs of the envirospawn, and in the bush we also make one for rocks, so it makes a sound on it going rock, but I don't know about that. Bushes are really important, this sound, this whole immersion thing. So we double click the bush, go to the proper object, let's go over it one more time. We've created an audio source called bush. I'll provide that as part of the source files on my course, the forest. Otherwise you have to do it yourself, create your own bush sound, create the audio source, interact on collision, add that script, then drag it into there and play audiosource.play. And we've got a capsule collider. Yeah, so we've got a capsule collider, interact on trigger, and a sound source. Oh, hang on, what have I got? I've got interact on collision, audio source play, and I've also got two audio source plays. Interact on trigger, interact on collision. What happens if I deactivate interact on trigger? Remove component. Interact on collision, interact on trigger. Okay, well, we'll just try that, see what happens. Oh, I need to save it. There's two different scripts, but we certainly don't need both. So close that. This is the interact on collision. Okay. No sound. Ah, okay. I wonder if we need both. Double click, click, interact on collision, interact on trigger. Let's add a component. That was interact on collision. Didn't seem to like that very much. Gain command receive. Interact on trigger. Okay. Add an event. Drag it in. Audio source play. Okay. Done. That's interact on trigger. So let's go to the collision one. Remove. I wonder if we need both. We'll find out in a minute. Let's close that. Save that. There we go. Yep, that's working. So, done that. Double click this. Double click to there, and that was interact on trigger. So you like triggers. We turned. Where's the capsule collider? The capsule collider is a trigger. So maybe that's the reason. Okay. So interact on trigger is the key. What a lovely piece of... Then that's from the 3D game kit. And now we can use invector's workflow to add extra characters rather than the wacky game kit one. So my request to Unity, if you actually watch this, which you might do because collision through bushes is amazing, please make, when you're next doing your 3D game kit, the scripts are amazing, you know, out of the box prefabs are amazing. Can you make your characters and avatars and animations more in line with Invector and other third-party, third-person controllers? So we've got an easy integration to just take all the great stuff that you've come up with and put it into really cool games. So I think that's enough for now. I hope it's been of use to people, and like I say, just to go over it yet again, we had 3 main integrations to do. 3D game kit, in which we just took the prefabs out, exported them, put them into a blank project. Invector, 3D third person free controller. We stuck that in plus its camera system, and then envirospawn, which is also free for now, which spawns objects and array cast from above and just smacks them down on the ground. And then we put an LOD system in to cull them when they get too far away. About there, they disappear, which is good. That's what we want. It's much more optimal. And I'm thinking of putting a mass on them, especially the rocks, like rigid body, so that they just hit the ground anyway. So even if they do scatter upwards, the gravity will bring them down. So scripts from 3D Game Lite. Invector, we used the prefabs, third person controller, light and camera, stuck them in. And then we used the envirospawn. You just create a new game object, you add the component, you add the the envirospawn script, then you go through it, add the prefabs that you come in, envirospawn, quiz development, envirospawn, prefabs, you add the rock or the bush or the pine or whatever you want, and spawn it. You make sure the size is, I've made the size about 500 by 500. Once you've spawned them in, you need to deactivate the script so it doesn't cause the bubble effects, which hopefully will get fixed. And I hope that's of use.